This is really exciting. More and you are just trickling in and signing on. We appreciate that because we have a lot to talk about this hour. It always goes by too fast, but we're glad you're here and sharing the evening with us. We'll begin momentarily. We'll give you a few more seconds to sign on. That number is going up, and we appreciate you, the audience, again, for being here tonight. We'll wait one more minute. Well, the time is 6:03, and I just want to say thank you, everyone. You know, we could just feel the excitement as you were signing on this evening. I'm Lisa Rayam, host of Morning Edition at WABE, and I'm here to help spread the good news tonight that the Atlanta Ballet is back. I feel like I'm family. I've done a number of these programs with the Atlanta Ballet, and last year was a struggle for all of us, right? It was quite the struggle, a struggle just to survive, a struggle to hold on to the things that we really love and enjoy, like the Atlanta Ballet. But here we are, the Atlanta Ballet has announced its new company roster, announced some wonderful productions and performances that it will host this year, and even have a new person in charge that we are going to introduce to you tonight. So again, thank you so much for being here. I'm Lisa Rayam, and it's going to be an exciting hour. So thank you again for tuning in. We have a wonderful group of panelists that I'd like to introduce to you this evening who will chat and bring you up to speed on everything that's happening with the Atlanta Ballet. First and foremost, we have Gennadi Nedvigin, Atlanta Ballet Artistic Director. I feel like he's an old friend, and it's always good to see you, and it's always good to sit and chat with you about these good things happening with the Atlanta Ballet. So welcome again this evening. Also, we have Sharon Story, who is Dean of Atlanta Ballet Center for Dance Education. Anytime I duck in to the Atlanta Ballet Theater, I see the little girls and the big girls practicing away, and she has a heavy hand in that, and we're going to hear from her this evening. And now, the new kid on the block. He's only been in Atlanta a week. I tell him he's already a veteran here, a native here, but I don't know, maybe not so much. But we want to welcome him, give him a warm welcome. Tom West, the newly appointed Executive Director of the Atlanta Ballet. So we can all give them all a round of applause. It's wonderful to see all of you. And Gennadi, this last year has been so challenging with COVID. We're looking at the three of you pretty cozy there, and there has to be a reason why, that you're all so close together and you're not wearing masks. So let's get that, clear for our audience this evening as why that's happening, because we haven't seen that look in a very long time.
All right. Well, thank you very much for welcoming us, Lisa. It's great to have you with us tonight as well. Yes, as we all know, we all went through a very challenging year, and last time we spoke about the challenges we had to face in masking up and staying away in our own spaces, being distancing, and this year brought us somewhat of a blessing as a vaccine, and we have strict protocols. We're following CDC recommendations, and of course we're having everybody vaccinated who enters the building to keep the safety of our students, our faculty, our dancers, and staff. And today we were not wearing masks because we are all vaccinated, and we took a test before this time going live in front of you, so we can comfortably see it and not to worry about any outcome from that.
Now, can anybody walk up to the ballet door and walk in? Do they have to be vaccinated to enter the building these days? How is that working?
To enter the building, yes. Well, You can get to the box office. Yes, you can get to the box office.
Now that's important. We got to buy those tickets, right? Yeah.
Very important. Yes, but beyond that, we still have to. We're in the COVID, in the pandemic, and it's not gone away, unfortunately. So we still have to be very careful. And Sharon may expand a little bit more on the procedures that we have in place.
Yeah, Sharon, I can imagine parents are concerned, and for their little dancers as well as the adult dancers as well. So I'm sure you've had to juggle a few things as well when it comes to COVID.
We put, after the lockdown, we put the procedures in place, and we started in June for the summer program. So it was all squares on the floor, social distancing. Each student has their own chairs, a lot of cleaning. A lot of, when they leave the room, their hands are sanitized, but the entire faculty is vaccinated. That is a requirement. And also the students that come in the building, they take their temperatures before they come in the building. And I must say the parents and families have been absolutely incredible following our protocols, because none of the parents are allowed in any of the buildings. They drop off their children, they take their class, and then they go away. So I must say thank you to all our families for helping us. The entire administrative staff are vaccinated also. Mm-hmm. And the minute we leave like this room, we have masks. So any public areas are masked. So,
well, thank you so much. And Tom, I'm glad you're not wearing a mask, because this is the first time a lot of people are seeing you. So welcome to Atlanta. Tell us, what attracted you to Atlanta Ballet?
Well, I've known of the company for a long time. I have had a career in the arts. I am I say a recovering actor, because you can always relapse, but I have been out of that for many decades. I studied theater and eventually ended up in arts management at the Kennedy Center in Washington, which has a very robust dance program, and left there for the Sagerstrom Center in Orange County, which also is known in Southern California as a destination for dance. And actually, Gennadi and I have talked. I think I saw him perform when he was with the San Francisco Ballet on the Sagerstrom stage. And then took a little detour in film. And then, just like so many people in COVID, I was at the American Film Institute for a little over a decade. But during this COVID time, when we were all at home and alone, I had a lot of time to reflect on my career and really the kind of impact I wanted to have for the rest of it. And hopefully that's a long time to come. And decided that the performing arts were really where I needed to be. And so I made a decision to start looking at what was out there in the performing arts. And just as a lot of people out there are transitioning their careers right now, as I started looking, this opportunity came available. And I talked to a number of friends who are in the dance world and who have run dance companies and have run performing arts centers. And the reputation of this company is extraordinary. And Gennadi's reputation is really extraordinary. And everything I've heard about the impact he's had on the company in the last 5 years got me really excited about the opportunity to come and help support his vision. So over the summer, met with a lot of the board members and Gennadi and Sharon, some of the staff, and was excited when they offered me the position.
Coming from California, West Coast to the South, East Coast, but really the South, do you think attitudes are different, styles are different? Do you think this will be an artistic change for you in some sense?
It is without question different wherever I have been. Now, I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, so this actually feels much closer to home than any of the other places I've worked. Washington, D.C. was a great adventure. And the West Coast from that was night and day. And I'll say it's actually really kind of nice to be back at a place where communities come together, because a place like Los Angeles is so spread apart, and there isn't so much cohesion there. And it's really exciting to see the way there are these landmark community organizations that are doing great work, but that are really entrenched in the city.
Well, you certainly are coming at an exciting time because the theater world, the dance world, cities are opening back up. But Gennadi, take us back a year, year and a half, and I'm shaking my head here because there were so many challenges for you being in an artistic forum, but you all made it work. You did a lot of things virtually, and you really, took creativity to a new level. So what was the last year like for the Atlanta Ballet?
Not that we really want to go back to last year.
Don't want to remember.
Right, and we want to move forward, and I just cannot not mention how happy we are to have Tom with us, with his background at the Gennadi Center and Segerstrom Center to help us move forward, because working with the large venues, smaller venues is an important part of it, and Tom's experience it will only enrich our abilities to be in our community more this time that we have that possibility to do. Compared to the last year, as you said, it was like, we're like eternal optimists, and we take the challenge and we turn it upside down and try to make it as advantageous as possible for us to move forward. And just simply taking a program that we created for virtual spring season called Silver Linings, based on our 8 choreographers that created new works for us, for the company, and helped me to include every single dancer to perform in performances that we were able to create virtually while we were looking for the open venues. And one of them came up was Georgia Tech, that produced the Skyline series and allocated us 3 weekends, which was very, very exciting to be back in front of our audience. And that was part, AB2 was also participating in that performance. And while company had 8 choreographers, came from almost nowhere, and we explored that new talent that we will be sharing in the upcoming season. And same thing with the younger generation.
Yeah, well, Sharon, I was going to say, one word I'm sure you like is live. There will be live performances this year. How exciting does that make you feel? And can you kind of tell our viewers what to expect?
Well, On the Horizons was amazing at Georgia Tech Skyline Series. 3 of the dancers choreographed on each other along with a graduate. So that was wonderful. And we'll carry that on to shops at Buckhead. But then we have Nutcracker coming up, and all the children are so excited to be back on stage and be back involved with that. And then in February, we'll have Snow White, which is another very big ballet that AB2 performs in, and a lot of children from the school perform in that, and that will be at Cobb Energy Center. So those 2 things, and that's an hour-long family classic.
And the Nutcracker will be back in its purest form, 100%.
Absolutely.
That is
5 and 4 cast of children, so we're excited.
That is so
exciting. They will be masked.
They will. Oh, really? Okay. During the performance? Okay.
What was that, Gennadi?
Oh, wonderful.
I was saying that we're moving to Cobb Energy Center this year.
Right.
And we're expanding the number of performances, and we have even more children casts than we had before. So there will be a lot more opportunities for everyone, for all those young and professional dancers to be on stage, as nothing in comparison to the previous year.
Change is always good, but you're going to have those who are going to say, oh, I missed the Nutcracker at the Fox Theater. How are you feeling going into the Cobb Energy Center? Or how are you looking at this? As a whole new feed, a whole new chapter, perhaps, right?
It is a whole new chapter. We did plan to be at the Cobb Energy Center a year ago. Mm-hmm. So basically we got an extra year of preparation, but Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center offers a lot of room, space, whether it be for parking. There are a lot of shopping center, restaurants around the area. There are a lot of backstage room that for us as artists and producers of the show is very important. And we will be able to keep our children in separate spaces. It will be much easier to keep the safety, especially under those circumstances that we're facing in comparison to our previous venue as a Fox Theater. And of course, every seat will be providing the best line sights, acoustics. There will be no bad seat in the theater. So that is very, very exciting for us.
Well, Tom, talk about all this excitement that's going on. A lot's going on now that ABT is back to live performances. What kind of new vision will you bring as executive director?
Well, right now I'm on a little bit of a listening tour, getting out to various parts of the community to really understand what the Atlanta Ballet means to folks. Things that I've observed is there is remarkable work that is happening in this company. And when I talk to executive directors of dance companies around the country, this is a really, really well-respected artistic organization in the dance field in general. And I think what we really need to be doing is focusing on telling our story better, really sharing the impact of the work that Sharon and the Center for Dance Education are doing to build not only, through her program, she's introducing this art form to young people across the region, but she's also creating for us a pipeline of diverse new dancers for the future and audiences. Because the people who are experiencing the sort of power of education in the dance classroom are people who are really going to appreciate what happens on the stage when they're at a point to go buy tickets for performances. So whether people come through the Center for Dance Education and never become professional dancers, it's still a success because they're people who understand the power of this artwork. So really telling that story better and telling the story more of the work that she's doing with the Decade to Dance and the kind of work she's doing to create a pipeline of professional dancers. I think that's got a great impact. And then the community engagement programs that also emanate from the Center for Dance Education. And then what I'm really hoping to do is to build the infrastructure and resources that Gennadi needs for really bold, ambitious programs. It's just a few years ago that this Nutcracker was a completely new production. And when it toured to the Kennedy Center, which has some tough arts critics, it got spectacular reviews. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what else he can do in commissioning new works, building new works, and we hope to engage in some more touring down the road.
And bringing it to the community. Right?
Yeah.
Some of the viewers are questioning and wondering about diversity and inclusion. Is that going to be an active part of your platform? Without
question. And I have to say, the Atlanta Ballet has been doing that work long before I arrived. There was the Equity Project that was in partnership with the Dance Theater of Harlem and a number of other companies around the country who are really focusing on, in particular, expanding opportunities for training Black dancers to perform with the best companies in the world. And we are doing a lot of that foundational work here at the Atlanta Ballet. I mentioned the Decade to Dance, and Sharon should talk more about the program itself, because it was really her brainchild and something that she's been developing. So do you want to share a little bit about that?
Sure. Through the Equity Project and through, the desire to increase dancers of color, just in general in the dance world, I investigated several programs and I decided, really to become a dancer, you have to have 10 years. That's at least 10 years to create a dancer for the stage. So what I envisioned was a program called Decade to Dance. It is specifically for dancers of color, and we start them at 8 years old, and it's a program for 10 years, and they're on full scholarship for 10 years, and hopefully they will be ready for the stage or a collegiate career in dance, or ready for college. And so we're very excited to scholarship them for those 10 years. The goal is to have 10 dancers each year, but we are selecting them as we go along. Right now, we launched it actually fully last year, and this year is the first official year because of the pandemic. So we have right now 8 dancers in the pipeline, and one of our dancers from Decade to Dance, who was on scholarship before we created Decade to Dance, he was an Atlanta Ballet A-League scholarship member, then he became Decade to Dance. He has actually just graduated to AB2 from Academy 5. So we're very proud of that, and we're looking forward to seeing these young dancers travel through with us and hopefully stay with us and stay on stage. Another Decade to Dance dancer this summer was selected to go and train at the Royal Ballet for the summer.
Wow.
So those are the things that are happening, and we have a whole lot of young ones that we're looking at and carrying them through. So we also get many of our dancers through our community engagement programs. And the community engagement programs are everything that we do outside of our headquarters and our 2 satellites. And we are at Park Lane Elementary, Hollis Innovative Academy, Boys and Girls Club, Utopian Art School. So we are out there actively teaching dance in the schools and selecting young dancers from our community.
That's absolutely wonderful. And if you want to read more about that, you could go to Atlanta Ballet's website, and it talks about diversity and inclusion initiatives there. There is a webpage specifically for that. Gennadi, you've also announced a new company roster. Tell us a little bit about that, because Atlanta is becoming more and more attractive to professional dancers, correct?
That is correct. And of course, over the past year and this year, before we actually will be able to return on the real stage at the theater, there was some changes happening, and it's normal for any professional company to have slight shift of company roster. And I'm happy that a lot of dancers are looking up for our repertoire that we bring on stage, and that is one of the main attractions for them to work with the Atlanta Ballet and being able to work with the choreographers that we bring in and the work that we have on stage. And yes, this year we have 6 new dancers that joining us at the studio. They're all here. Usually we have issues with the visas, but we were ahead of this year and we're able to bring everyone from abroad as well. We were an international company, and we have 6 new dancers, and I'll just name. We have Kelsey Van Tyne, who joined us from Kentucky Ballet Theater. She's native of Naples, Florida. We have Sojang Lee, who came to us from Korea. During pandemic, she had to spend time there, but she previously worked with Ballet Met and Boston Ballet. We have Michael Kay from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have international dancers from Ukraine, Denis Nedak. Also, partially international, Eric Kim, who's native of North Carolina, but came from Uruguay National Ballet. So we're bringing our people home. And we have Angel Ramirez Castellano, who's native of Cuba, joining us as an apprentice this year. So we're all in the studios and working and looking forward to this season.
Well, it sounds like an exciting one. Sharon, let me ask you, what excites you about Tom's new leadership?
What excites me is he listens, and he also has some great creative energy, great creative ideas, and he wants to get the word out about Atlanta Ballet, about everything that we're doing. So I'm excited about that and his great energy.
Great, I could see that. Yeah, and Gennadi, I'll ask you the same question. Why are you so excited about Tom's new leadership?
Well, apart from what I already stated, that I'm super excited and thrilled about his experience and somewhat closeness of us being on the same stages or the same organizations before. I'm happy to partner with Tom in leading this organization together to the future. We have a lot of ease in communication, and I think that's one of the main skills that two leaders need to propel the company forward. We've been working with Sharon Story hand to hand on the artistic side, and I'm excited to have Tom to help grow our organization in many ways, in the community, on stage, and touring regionally and beyond, nationally and internationally eventually.
If I can chime in here, one of the things I was really excited to find when I got to the Atlanta Ballet is that everyone sees the work that Gennadi puts on the stage. What I think people don't really appreciate is how savvy he is about the business of ballet. He has great insights into the marketing. He has really good insights when we look at the overall management. So as I'm coming in, he's a great partner. Like, I'm really excited to work beside him because he's also helping me as someone I really respect to bounce ideas off of when we're talking about management and planning.
I was going to ask you, Tom, how do you think you could support Gennadi's vision as well as Sharon's vision?
Well, that is exactly the role that I'm here for. It's whenever we do anything here, I want to be sure that the focus is always on education and art. And my job is to block and tackle, and I'm big enough to create pathways so that the vision can get out there. Gennadi comes to us with really world-class, a world-class career before he arrived here, and what he's really doing is elevating the company and the reputation around the country and around the world. And my job is just to be sure he has the resources that he needs to accomplish that and to take on even more ambitious artistic projects. So as he crafts his plans for 2 and 3 and 4 years out, my goal is to sort of break down what we need, what we need to build, and then who we need to engage in the community. One of the things that I think is really imperative for the Atlanta Ballet is that we broadly engage this community, and that we help folks understand the importance of dance in every walk of life. And I think that, you know, when folks understand that artistic expression is one of the things that can bring us together, then we'll be able to accomplish what the organization is here to do.
Wow, that's pretty profound there. I'm going to take a brief moment to ask you, the viewers, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat room, and I'll be glad to ask those of our panelists, because this is your moment to find out everything you want to know ahead of this great season. Gennadi, one patron wants to know, what is your proudest moment at Atlanta Ballet thus far?
Well, I guess tour to Kennedy Center was one of the biggest achievements, not for my career, but actually for Atlanta Ballet. In 90 years history, this is the first time Atlanta Ballet was able to make this debut with the Nutcracker that is on the highest level of the world ballet. And we were able to demonstrate that we're capable of producing such high quality works. And with Tom's help, I'm looking forward to creating new productions and bringing it out there of that quality.
Awesome, awesome. Sharon, the same patron wants to know, what is your proudest moment with the students?
Wow. I've been here for a long time, and I think the main thing is always seeing them achieve whatever their dreams are in life, whether it's being in the company. Many have graduated to being in the company, And many are in companies all over the world, New York City Ballet, but the other ones that have graduated and gone on to have very, very successful careers in other forms of life. And they always come back to me and say, Sharon, it's the discipline that I learned in the studio that helps me in my day-to-day life and the focus. And it's so rewarding. And the other thing is when they come home and on vacation or during the holidays and they come to visit. So that's always really quite wonderful.
Always come home. You never get rid of them, right? And that's
always,
a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good thing.
And it's been a joy working with Gennadi, and I look forward to working with Tom.
Awesome. Who can chime in and speak for the dancers? I can imagine they are thrilled to be getting back on stage and before a live audience. What's the vibe like with the company dancers specifically?
Well, I think I must add that another excited moment of proudness I also had when I saw this huge group of company dancers being in the same room, right, returning after a long break after the summer and being so ready and eager to go into the new season. And as of today, actually, Tom gets his first glance of one of the works being already created, one of 3 new works by our newly developed choreographers during last year. They're created 3 works for this upcoming season, and Tom got a sneak peek of it today.
He popped into the door of my office and said, "Come down the hall real quick. There's something you got to see." And so I followed him down the hall and into the studio, and this is very early on but they've set this piece. It was so cool to watch, and just to see the piece in development. And the dancers were, there were the dancers who were dancing across the floor, and then you could see some other members of the company sitting around, just leaning in, excited to now we're back and we can do this, and we're planning to be on a stage with it. It was a very cool moment for me.
Yeah, it's a great energy in the room. Definitely, everybody wants to go back on stage, and this is the perfect opportunity to show themselves, to get that joy of dance on stage and share it with the audience. The atmosphere is great right now.
I bet. And Sharon, I'm sure you can attest to that firsthand. What's the chatter like in your ears? I mean, are some of the dancers in tears, maybe tears of joy that they're getting back to work? Really?
They're very excited, and as I said, for me, just walking down the hall and seeing from the little pink babies all the way up to AB2, and how excited, and they're peeking through the doors, watching the company. It's just such a sigh of relief that we are all together again and not doing virtual hybrid classes and pods and all that. We're being extremely careful, but it's such a joy to walk down the halls and feel as Gennadi said, to feel all the wonderful positive energy.
I can imagine.
They're actually skipping down the halls.
I bet. Money is never an easy thing to talk about. And COVID hit everybody hard. And a lot of people want to know how good a shape is the Atlanta Ballet in? How did you survive? And is the Atlanta Ballet in pretty good shape moving forward?
Well, I'll say the Atlanta Ballet has a really solid foundation, and I am happy to say I can take no credit for it because I just showed up last week. But there's a really strong management team here and a really dedicated staff and a really committed board. When I'll recount this because I wasn't here, but I've been studying it. When everything really went south, there were significant concerns, and the board came together and put together a special initiative to raise money to keep the ballet alive. We called it the Back to the Stage campaign. Mm-hmm. It was a really successful effort and raised more than $3 million, almost $3.5 million so far. Then when and in there were a few really significant leadership gifts that allowed us to do something that no other professional ballet company in the country was able to do, and that was keep our dancers employed and keep them on contract throughout. We did not have to decrease the number of weeks on the contract. We did not have to reduce. We were able to pay them or furlough them, and that's something that our peers around the country really struggled with and weren't able to do. But this board, Gennadi really fought for it, and this board said, yes, we need to support the dancers and the artists, and they made it happen. And then I will say that, through some of the government support programs, in addition to the fundraising, we were able to find our way through, and we're actually entering this year in a really strong position. It's still early, and we need people to come and enjoy productions like the Nutcracker. And I will say the board members that I've gotten to know are really committed. They believe in Gennadi, they believe in the work that he and Sharon do, and they're here to support, and our donor community has really come together. I am happy to say that our subscriptions are right on track for the year. And ticket sales for the Nutcracker are out there, and we're really hoping that folks join us.
You really have to applaud yourselves because, not very many people made it to the other side in really good shape. So it's good to hear this, and we are certainly appreciative of all the hard work you did in keeping ABT afloat. And Gennadi, also, you deserve a round of applause because you guys came up with other ways to connect with the audience. And are those traditions that you may keep in place that you may use in the future? Because a lot of them work so well.
Yes, and we're always looking for new collaborations or existing ones, and we're always eager to stay in touch with our friends. And last season we collaborated with Rialto Theater, and they offered us to use their space without audience, but we were able to digitally connect with our audience. And we continuing our discussions how else we can collaborate, but now bringing the live audience in. So we're staying in communication. But as you can imagine, during the pandemic, we had so much planned. And I just want to add about the upcoming season is that we have so much built up and sitting and waiting to get on stage that it's going to be somewhat a challenge to bring it up, but we're so excited that it's there and sitting and waiting to be shared with the audience. And we're starting this season, obviously, with Firebirds and Giselle and other productions.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they did during the shutdown was some video and some started capturing and filming some productions as well. And so we're over the year we're going to look and see, is there a way that we can also share that with audiences?
That's wonderful news. So with that said, Sharon, with everything in good shape, everything moving forward and things getting back to the way they used to be, what is your vision for Atlanta Ballet the next year and the years to come?
It's a really great question because Gennadi and I were just talking about this yesterday, how we really want to expand the academy division to more levels. We want to get out and be in more schools. We want to increase our presence with the Boys and Girls Clubs, which is very important to us, and all the other wonderful arts and recreation areas. And honestly, just continue to build and strengthen the center in all the areas that we touch, and increase moving out into the community as far as Macon, and I would really like to see AB2 get on the road also, because they have some wonderful performances that they put together. So that would be another exciting thing to see them take their talent out, because it's quite wonderful that Gennadi actually really, really believes that AB2 is the pipeline into the company, and he has already taken many dancers from AB2 into the company. So
Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Gennadi, I'll ask you the same thing. I mean, you've done so many marvelous things since I've known you. Um, what's your vision? What does it look like now, tomorrow, and the next day?
Well, as I said, there was a lot in planning already, and we had to push it forward. So we actually have in planning for the next 2, 3 years so packed that I can't even squeeze new things, new ideas into that, which is exciting. And even including Atlanta Ballet 2 group, which is so busy with the company on their own, with Snow White, with another performances outside. We're also looking at the possibility of traveling. There is a lot to schedule and put it in the calendar, because we're already running into issues like, wow, we have so many different performances coming up that we need to have enough space so we can produce those works. But of course, I'm looking forward to bringing more new choreographers, giving dancers opportunity to work with them, creating larger and new productions that would resonate with our audiences here in Atlanta, and we can take it as well outside, perhaps to Kennedy Center again, who knows?
Should I say dormitory?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Wow, I want to be there for that. Tom, you think you'll bring any sprinkles of California here to Atlanta?
I hope to. I'm, a decade in the film community and in film education too. I've got a few friends who are filmmakers, and we'll see what comes over time.
All right. Well, you are just in time for the Nutcracker. Wow, that's a great beginning for you. There's Firebird, Giselle, Strike Your Fancy. Sharon, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you have a favorite, which one is your favorite? You can't say the Nutcracker. We that one's out.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite?
Well, they're so different that I'm going to have to say both of them are, Giselle and Strike Your Fancy. Because,
Wow.
Giselle is, I've danced it all over the world, and it's just such a beautiful classic.
Oh.
But Strike Your Fancy, they're so, both. I'm not going to pick one.
Give us a tease. I know nothing about Strike Your Fancy. Give me a teaser and tell me what that's about.
Well, Strike Your Fancy, it's a mixed program. There'll be a variety of, that's why it's called Strike Your Fancy, because there will be a classical work, Paquita, by Marius Petipa, that we will stage ourselves. I commissioned new work from one of our new choreographers, Sergio Macera, which we saw today. So it has a good, solid ground now. And it was really exciting to see, to counterbalance the classical work. And if you'll come and join us at the performances, you will see how it's done. And of course, I'm very excited to bring back our choreographer in residence, Claudia Schreier's work. This name, it always gives me a hard time. Hiatus dances. We always laugh with Claudia talking about it, that she created during last year, during the year of pandemic for us. But it's such a great work that I decided to bring it back this season. Apart from Claudia creating new work for us that will premiere in February program as well. So,
well, Gennadi, is this putting you on the spot? Do I dare put you on the spot and ask you which is your favorite? Firebird, Giselle, Strike Your
Hey, they're all dear to me.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you that one thing, that from my early age, right after I graduated and my first year in the company, I was in love with Giselle. And it was my dream.
Beautiful,
to dance
just beautiful. Yeah.
Which I ended up performing when I was working with San Francisco Ballet.
Yeah, awesome.
Many years ago now.
Okay, I don't think that doesn't get you into trouble. Yeah, that was a good response there. Tom, you have to say the Nutcracker, right, Tom? Because that's where you begin here.
I'm going to reserve until after I've seen them all. So you can ask me that question in a year or by May. By May I'll have, but I'll tell you and we won't broadcast it.
All right. Well, we have such a wonderful audience here today. And again, this was an informative session for you, just to find out where the Atlanta Ballet is. And again, quickly, we have a few more minutes, so get your questions in. But I want to end with each of you sending a message to our listeners, our viewers here this evening, who have been so supportive of ABT through the pandemic in so many ways. Gennadi, wasn't there a drive-in theater or something last year? You guys did a performance in the drive, and that was a huge hit. And people want to support; they want to be here. So, if you all had any message for the patrons, the supporters, just the children with stars in their eye, what would it be tonight? Sharon, I'll begin with you.
Come dance with us. Come to the Atlanta Ballet. Come to the Center for Dance Education from 2 to adults to 80, 90. Come take classes and enjoy the love of dance that we could share for you.
Gennadi, what would your message be?
My message will be that I think we're all being isolated for too long. Everybody's excited and probably can't wait to get back out there, get in the theater, enjoy each other's company, and see the live performance on stage. The physicality in the studio is unbelievable. What those dancers can bring on stage is just unexplainable, especially after such break. And I'll just welcome everybody to come and forget your daily routines and get inspired and get rejuvenated and go home with happy heart. And so join us.
There's nothing like seeing a live performance, right? Tom, you're the newbie, but still, what is your message? You have a lot of experience here. What would your message be to those who support, who want to support, and who have stuck with ABT through thick and thin?
Well, first, thank you. Thank you to everybody who supported and kept this company alive and healthy. And what's really funny is if Gennadi had not pulled me down the hall earlier today, I might have a very different answer.
Oh, really?
But seeing these dancers live up close today in a studio, they are remarkable athletes and artists, and I'd say superheroes. It was extraordinary to watch them. So, don't we all want more of that in our lives? So, come and see it in person. I have to say, this entire community has been super welcoming, and it's been really fun just even to meet the dancers who are they're just bubbling with excitement to be back. So, come enjoy. It's we just all need a little more joy in our lives right now, and this is a place you can find it.
Yeah, and so much joy for many, many years. I'm looking at the history here. Founded in 1929, Atlanta Ballet is one of the most premier dance companies in the country. The Atlanta Ballet opened its Center for Dance Education in 1996. So certainly has strong, strong roots here in Atlanta. I didn't ask you all, you're being called superheroes in the chat room. How did you guys survive, COVID? How was it for you? I know you had to manage the dancers, manage the parents, manage the productions, manage the money. But when you sit back and think about it, how was it for you mentally, physically, psychologically? Sharon, how did you withstand all of that?
I have a fantastic team, faculty and everybody, and very supportive parents, very, very supportive family. So I just took it as we have to be in the studio. So I really took it as, not a challenge, it's just we have to make this work. And we did. So I'm not actually tired by it. I'm actually energized by it. Seeing it really, we really didn't stop.
Yeah, I stop by, the halls every now and again, and Gennadi, I saw you juggling. You had plans for a big production that I was a part of, and it had to be canceled because of COVID. You were constantly juggling things. Did that have any impact on you?
Well, of course, it had an impact. I'm first of all very thankful to everyone who was besides me helping to get through these tough times in the entire organization and with the leadership and artistic team and staff and dancers, because they give us that energy. Just when the entire building was on a lockdown, basically, and only dancers could come and use the studios, 10 people at a time, and I would walk down the hallway and hear the music coming from the studio. That would give me the energy to get through all this time. And I'm ready to forget about that because I was planning so much and every day, basically, that I'm so tired of replanning things that it's very inspirational. It's very uplifting to be able to plan it once and for all.
Wow.
But at least see this beautiful path to the stage this year that we all can enjoy, and that's where my focus is, and I hope everyone else's is as well.
I think that's good last words there. Thank you, and I applaud you all. And Tom, welcome you. Applaud you for getting us to the other side. And Tom, I'm going to steal your words. Get inspired, get rejuvenated. The past is the past. We're moving forward, and just so excited that this is a new season. So exciting to see you, Sharon and Gennadi, again, and welcome to you, Tom. Gennadi Nedvigin, Atlanta Ballet Artistic Director, joining us this evening. Sharon Story, Dean of Atlanta Ballet Center for Dance Education, and the newly appointed Executive Director, Tom West. Bravo, bravo. Thank you all for being here. And thank you for an exciting season ahead. I can't wait. I can't wait. So thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. And
thanks, everybody. Come enjoy the ballet.